Okay guys, we're back. I just drained all the engine coolant from the bottom headcock valve on the radiator, and that actually got me to about 10 quarts of engine coolant, which isn't bad because I think this has like an 11 quart capacity. So it actually did pull a lot of it out. I'm sure there's still some more in here. What I'm going to do next over here, I'm going to disconnect all the spark plug cables, but I'm just going to mark them. I've got some tape here. I'm going to wrap it around there and mark them as to what cylinder they go to so I don't have to go back and figure it out from the distributor. Once those are marked, I'm going to start by taking the air horn cover off. I'm going to disconnect this. I've drained the oil. I'm probably also going to disconnect the upper radiator hose from the thermostat housing, and from the radiator just pull that out. I'm still waiting on the gasket, but what I want to do is kind of prep this as much as I can to get as many things disconnected as possible. So when the gasket comes, I could just take the head off and see what's going on. I mean, maybe I'll take the head off today. I don't know. But right now I'm going to mark all the cables, pull those off, and then we'll come right back. Okay guys, we're back. It's been a while. I took everything apart off the head. I had to disassemble the carburetor air horn, the oil filter housing. It was a giant pain. Let me go grab the gasket so you can see what it looks like. Alright, so I took the gasket off, and again, I am not an expert, but I don't see anything on the gasket itself that, you know, looks like it would have caused the head gasket to fail. I don't see an obvious break. I don't see an obvious issue here. What I do see, and maybe if you guys can comment if you know more about this than I do, I see a lot of pitting here in the gasket, and it definitely, the block was very clean when I put the gasket on the last time. The block is not perfect. You know, there are issues. I think it needs to be decked for sure, but I don't know what all this these indents and this pitting is. So if you're aware of that, maybe you can comment and kind of help me out here. Like I said, I don't really see an issue, so I am not sure. Actually, this is kind of funny right here. So if you see this right here, looks like a hairline crack, although it's not. It doesn't go all the way through. But that is what's on the block itself. There is a hairline crack in the water jacket, which I think is a problem. You know, let me pause this. I'm going to clean my hands and I'm going to put the camera up close so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. Let's kind of zoom in here, kind of show you what I'm talking about. So this is the block. Again, if anybody knows a little bit more about this than I do, if you have any ideas, happy to hear them. If you look over here, kind of in between the water jacket and that stud hole on the right, you can see that little hairline crack. There's also a little hairline crack right there between the stud hole and the water jacket. There's another one back here. So I don't know. I mean, look, I know the block has to come out. Those have to be stitched. This has to be decked. The block is not perfectly flat here, which very well could have been the cause of the head gasket failure. And kind of give you a little more info, the failure that I saw when I checked the oil, it was neon green on the dipstick, which was obviously engine coolant. So right now what I've done is I ordered new studs, because even though these studs were new when I put them in 2 years ago, they look very corroded. They're kind of messed up from being in here. So I've ordered new studs, I've ordered new bolts, I've ordered a new head gasket. I'm going to clean all this up, dry all this up. I'm going to put the new gasket on, I'm going to put everything in, repaint the head itself, and then reassemble it and hope that, you know, this will work and can get me through the summer. I know the block has to come out. I'm going to take the block out for sure. I picked up another block today, and I'll show you that in just a second. Then hopefully, you know, like I said, this will get me through the summer. I could take the engine out then, have it rebuilt, and then we'll get the Jeep back in service. So let me, we'll be right back. Let me go take you over to the new block that I bought. Okay, so this is the block that I purchased. This came out of a welder, or actually, you know, I said a welder, but I think it might have been a generator based on the bell housing over there. The block itself looks like it's in pretty good shape. I don't see any obvious cracks or issues. I took the head off. I don't see any cracks in the water jackets. It looks pretty decent. It's an MB block. This is an original one. MB 257737. So I'm going to take this at some point to the machine shop, have them Magnaflux it, deck the block, deck the head, and I'm probably just going to start getting this block rebuilt, and then at some point I will take the block out of the MB, which is the original to that Jeep, and then have that one stitched and rebuilt and keep that as the spare on the side. I guess we're going to have to go from there. I don't want to have to do this, especially since we are just at the beginning of the summer. I want to enjoy the Jeep for this summer. If we look in here, I've got a crankshaft, a clutch fork, there's a camshaft, an oil pump, oil float. There's actually a distributor hiding back here. I was able to pick all this up, an engine stay cable. I was able to pick all this up relatively inexpensive, and I bought a Vespa while I was there too. So we'll see. At this point, I'm not going to make another video for probably at least a week or so. I'm waiting for the studs to come in. I'm waiting for the head gasket to come in. But as soon as all that stuff comes in, I'm going to make another video. We're going to clean everything up. We're going to install it and hopefully start the Jeep. And guys, I really hope that that this gasket holds and I don't have to deal with this for the summer. But like I said, leave some comments. Let me know what you think. Maybe you have a little more experience in this area. I'm not a pro at head gasket problems, especially knowing that, like I said, the engine has to be decked, it's got to be machined, and I'm trying to avoid that for at least the summer. So if you have any temporary ideas or repairs that I could do, please tell me. And if you could do me a favor, if you could like and subscribe to the channel, I'd really appreciate it. I've had this Jeep for a long time, but going forward I'm going to start making a bunch of videos on the repairs and on driving it and all my impressions of it. I've also owned another Willy's Jeep. This is not my first. And also on the channel, I'm going to be doing a full teardown, restoration and rebuild of my Vespa PX125 that I picked up today while I was picking up this engine block. So I think it's going to be a lot of good information. We might make the Vespa like a safari type build, maybe some racks on it, jerry cans, some desert tan color with some black racing stripes. We'll see. Again, like and subscribe and leave some comments. Let me know what you think. And if you have any ideas, I'd appreciate it. Thanks for watching.